Hey, what's up everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is Queen Sugar Season 6 Episode 13, and this is the season finale, and the name of this episode is From on the Pulse of Morning. And let me say, I am wearing my white in celebration of Hollywood and Fi. I am so happy for them, and I'm definitely going to get to them, But first, let me get started because this was a really good episode. It was 90 minutes, and I'm going to try my best not to make this long, but I'm going to try to group everything together. Alright, so the first thing that we see in this episode, Ralph Angel going to the prison. Now, at first when I saw this, I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Well, the thing is, he's actually, doing this program with these inmates who are about to go on parole. And, we actually know that he's hired two of the parolees on his land, Emmanuel and Benny. And he's there to actually talk to these other inmates, to give them encouragement, to him to be an example of someone who was on parole and who came from prison but was able to turn their life around. I have to say that was a very powerful scene, especially when he looked each one of them in the face and says, "You worth something. You worth something." Because a lot of black men, so many black men, have that feeling that they're less than, that they're not good enough. And he's letting them know, affirming them, you worth something. Your life means something. Your well-being means something. And I just thought that was very beautiful. And we actually see that he meets with Kevin at the end of the session. Him and Kevin talk. And he was actually trying to he wanted to talk to this woman, I think, who was about to be a parolee. He wanted to set something up, but then he ended up getting a call. But while Ralph Angel's standing there, he's looking at, the prisoners being, lined up, getting out of the van and all of that. It's all, kind of playing back that, man, I've come a long way. And it kind of, like, Ralph Angel's face gave that look like, man, at one point, this was me. I was one of those people that was in handcuffs. And then all of a sudden, Kevin comes back with good news that the board approved his early release from being on that the board approved his release and that he'll be off of parole within a month. So this is good news. He's excited. So he's got an earlier release, and it was so warm to see Ralph Angel have a win like this, because Ralph Angel, from when we met him in season 1, has been through a lot. Him being a hothead, him having moments where he gets very simple and in his own shit. But then we also saw, this young man coming into his own. This young man, having a sense of pride and respect for himself and others. And we'll see that him going through this journey, now he's at a place where he's now helping others who've kind of made bad choices or have kind of fell into bad situations like himself, and he's giving them a second chance. And now we see that he's now being rewarded for him doing the good deed, and I was so happy to see that. Then later on in the episode, and then also I'm just gonna tie Ralph Angel stuff together. Then we see that he has a scene with Darla. And I have to say, I'm really happy that him and Darla have gotten to this place where they can be cordial with each other. And, Darla blew this thing that he has to build, but he said that he wants the two of them to build it together with him, because all his friends at school are talking about this thing. But at this time, they have this conversation. And she pretty much says that, I want us to be good. I want us to, to be at a good place. And he says that, I want the same thing, I want us to be all right. And, she pretty much says that Blue tells me she's really nice, talking about Trin. And she was saying that, I want you to be happy. I don't want to hold you back. But then he lets her know that, yeah, Trent is really great. She works at the plant. We're good friends, but we're not together anymore. It's just I didn't want to bring her into, you know, into all the stuff that I was going through. So I just decided that we should just be friends. But you can tell from the looks in each other's eyes that chemistry between them is still there. I'm not saying it's ready for them to get back together, because as of right now, they both have some growing to do. But I think down the line, they probably may end up getting back together. You know, time heals wounds. You know, so. But I have to even say I like Darla in this space. You know, where she's growing up as a woman. You know, she's taking ownership of herself, and she's saying that, what's helping me to keep my sobriety is seeing my son, and my son is keeping me on the straight and narrow, and that touched me, and I was like, that's real. And he told her that he's proud of her, and I'm like, great, you finally affirmed her that she is trying to be a better person, and she's trying to be a great mother, and she's trying to stay on the straight and narrow, and she's proven that, yeah, she stood the test of time, and she's making it a daily fight to stay on that right path. And it's great to see them come together. And then Blue comes in, and they start working on the little thing that she bought for him, and to see them both interact with Blue as parents. And Blue is happy because he got both of his parents working together. Even though they're not together anymore, they are being parents for Blue, and they've gotten to a place where they have a mutual respect for each other, and it's beautiful. And that's exactly what I was rooting for. So all you people who felt that I was hating on Darla, I never hated Darla, but I was mad at her ass. But I'm glad that I'm starting to see that she is making this transition, and that she does have equal stake in her son's life. You know, she's a part of it now. She's not on the outside. But Darla, now that you in there, you better stay there. Because the thing about children, you can't keep hopping in and out. You know, you got to stay there. But from the looks of it, she even said earlier in this season that if Blue's in St. Joe's, I'm in St. Joe's. So she's letting it be known I ain't going nowhere. So, you know, shout out to Darla and Ralph getting to this place. And I'm happy to see that Blue got both of his parents. Then I'm going to talk about what ended up happening to Ralph Angel. He's coming home, and he's got Blue in the car, and then there's these police officers on his property. And you can just tell that they was on some bullshit, and you can tell that they was literally using their badge and their authority to intimidate him. And pretty much they said, we want you to come down to the station and ask some questions. And he says, what it's about. It's like, you should just come with us. And he's like, you got a warrant? And then all of a sudden, one of the officers is like, Ralph Angel board alone. I hear you about to get your early release. You know, I can reverse that just by you spitting gum on the ground. So I suggest you come with us and don't ask no questions. Ralph Angel let them know, there's cameras on my property. They even seen you come up here, and they see what's going on right now. So, if you're feeling froggy, leap. Because I'm not moving without no warrant. I mean, he didn't, I'm paraphrasing, but let's just say the officer got the message and they both got in their cars and they drove off. And I'm like, see, that's the bullshit that we're talking about. You know, people who take, you know, police officers who are taking advantage of their authority, and they're using it to dehumanize and to disrespect black people. And that can no longer be tolerated whatsoever. So I thought that, yeah, that was powerful that Ralph Angel stood his ground. And I'm like, here it is. This man is on the straight and narrow. He's making better decisions. He's working his father's land, because he actually talked about that with the prisoners, that, you know, his father, you know, that, you know, Ernest pretty much, you know, he gave him purpose. You know, his father left him the farm, and, you know, he left me real work. You know, life and ownership. And there you go right there. There's power in ownership. And we're seeing that this black man is doing great things, but yet this system is still trying to tear him down. And I was glad that he stood his ground and said that if you ain't got no warrant, I don't have to go with you, because you do have rights. Next, I want to talk about this big rally that Micah has initiated, and he even has a councilwoman that he's connected with, and they're doing this very big rally to stop this, you know, conglomerate privatized prison from being built in St. Joe's. You know, and you know, we see at first, you know, while they're pretty much in this auditorium getting things ready, we see that Micah is with Nova, and she knows that Micah feels some kind of way, and she asks him what's going on, and he lets her know that none of my friends showed up. And she says that, look, you know, we all want our friends to be there, but hey, sometimes being a leader means you walk alone. I, for one, know that to be true in my situation. So that was real, because that definitely spoke to me, that sometimes, you know, when you're a leader and you're trying to clear your own path, sometimes you just can't take people with you. And that was real. And I think that was something that he needed to hear, that look, you're a leader, so you now have to, you know, you're going to have to keep the fight going even if your friends aren't there. You know, just as in life, when you're on a mission and you have a destiny, you got to follow that destiny. And sometimes the people that you love or the people that you want around you may not be there. But you got to follow the course, because it's God ordained, and it's your divine purpose. So we see that he tries to speak to the crowd to let them know about the rally. You can tell that he lacks confidence in his speech, and he's not speaking very loud, and no one's paying attention to him, and they trying to tell him to speak up. But then Charlie gets up and she speaks and everything, and we see Micah's kind of slighted, but then he realizes he's gonna now have to learn from his mother, because now, and it's great because now that he's doing this rally, we're seeing that Micah and Charlie are now getting close again. And there's this new respect they have for each other. Like, she's proud of him that he's making a stand, and he's gonna, you know, try to lead a fight to stop this prison from being built, because Charlie did all she could at the council meeting, and we saw on the last episode they voted for the prison to be built. And Micah decided to take this to the next level and get the community involved, which I thought was just genius. And pretty much we see that the council member, and actually Romero actually talked about this council member when he has his date with Charlie, and I'm about to get to that. But then, you know, continuing with the rally goes down. The councilwoman actually introduces Micah to the podium to speak, and we see at first he's kind of going by a script, and then I got so happy when I saw Kiki show up, and I was like, Kiki, yay! I love me some Kiki. So when Kiki showed up and he noticed her in the audience, and he began to see that, you know, because at first you know, he was saying some great stuff, but he was kind of struggling with it, because I think the impulse for Micah was that he needed to speak from the heart. And he put down that paper and began to tell his story about when he was brutalized by the police officer, Randall Orson, and put him out there by name about what happened. And he said that the thing that got me was the fact that this man not only abused me, but then he abused me because he felt that his dignity in life was more important than mine. And he says it's not okay. You know, and he says that prisons are not paid with dollars and cents. They're paid with bodies and blood. And then next thing you know, we saw his friends show up. We saw KJ, we saw Malik, we saw Asha, and I was like, yes. And then we actually see that, yeah, KJ was like agreeing, because now here it is. The last time you said that he's always behind the camera, we see that now he's in front and he's leading it, and now you all are following him. And I thought that, yes, that's exactly what needed to be seen. And he was saying that, look, I'm lucky because I have a mother and a father who love me. You know, I had them to support me. But what would have happened if I didn't have that? Where would I have been if I didn't have that support? And he pretty much ended his speech by saying that building this prison is pretty much more of an example of what America is doing wrong versus what America is doing right. And he got a thunderous applause, you know, and it ended up getting on the news. He ended up getting over 300,000 views on YouTube within the hour. And, you know, we see that Charlie and Micah had this moment where she says, regardless of how things turn out, I'm proud of you. You know, you fought. And it was so warm to see Charlie and Micah come together as mother and son, and they now respect each other's spaces. She now sees her son as a leader and sees her son as a man, and he sees her as a leader as well, and that they really, the whole time, have been fighting the same fight. Beautiful. Then we see that Charlie has her date with Romero. And, you know, Romero talks about the councilwoman who was doing the rally with Ralph Angel, and saying that she's done a lot for the Hispanic, she's done a lot for the Mexican and for the Mexican and Latino community. And yeah, and then Charlie pretty much opens up about community and saying that when she was in LA, the definition of community was different. You know, I was married. She talks about being married to Davis and being his manager, and that pretty much her life became deals, money, you know, fame, notoriety. That became her community. That was her world, and she was entrenched in it. And he asked, so what changed it? And she said losing her father. You know, and then he pretty much also talks about, you know, his mother, and he said that his mother told him that love grows from humble hearts. That's a gem right there, and I thought that was beautiful. And then he also talks about him being this awkward kid, and he was the teacher's pet, and he was bullied for being different. And then he said that they had to do this dance, and he had 2 left feet, and she was like, show me the dance. And at first he wasn't trying to do it, but then he showed her the dance, and he's a damn good dancer. So that was powerful right there, to say that the thing that people made fun of him, he now can probably do better than all of them. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, he pretty much proved the bullies wrong. And, you know, he asked Charlie to do it, and Charlie got 2 left feet too. Bless her heart. And, you know, we see that they are just having fun and having a good time. And this is the first time we really seen Charlie just let loose and be happy. We have not seen Charlie this happy in a long time. So I was so here for it. And then, you know, it gets to a point where one moment he just tells her, I love your joy. And I was like, ooh. And she says that, you know, you seem like, and she tells him that you seem like a person that's really good, and you care for people. You know, you're a good human being. And he lets her know, and so are you. And then the next thing you know, they kiss, and then all of a sudden we see Charlie just smiling and everything. I'm like, oh my God, Charlie is glowing. I'm like, you better do it, Romero. You team A right now, but you better not hurt Charlie. You better not hurt my girl. So, there you go. But I thought that was really sweet to see that. Okay, next I'm going to talk about right here, well, actually, yeah, I just got finished talking about Charlie. Okay, now I'm going to talk about, you know, her and Mr. Prosper, because we saw from the last episode, Mr. Prosper had called his daughter Billy to come down and get him, and Billy lives in Chicago. So, here it is, we have a scene where, Prosper's getting the rest of his things, you know, and they're all saying their goodbyes, and he gives he gives Micah a copy of Jill Scott Heron's The Revolution Will Not Be Televised. Classic. Pure classic, you know, of being a leader, of being a liberator, of really speaking your truth. Jill Scott Heron is a legend, and, you know, rest in peace to him. But I was so glad that he gave him that, and he told him that you're a born leader, you know, and it's about the revolution. And Jill Scott Heron spoke about it, and we're now seeing, we kind of saw that coming to fruition with Micah leading that rally to stop, you know, the prison from being built. So that was a touching scene. But then pretty much Charlie was supposed to be taking Prosper to the hotel, and then they were going to be flying out to Chicago within a day or so. But on the way to the hotel, Charlie pulls out. Charlie stops, makes a stop, and her and Prosper, you know, come out, and she takes him to his house in the land. She gives him the deed to the house, and she said, "You belong here with us. You know, this is your home. This is your land. This is where you belong." And she says, "Don't worry about it. I already talked to Billy. I told Billy everything. You belong here. You know, you got your house back, and everything's going to be good." And that nearly moved me to tears to see this man feel so much joy and appreciation that Charlie went out of her way to get his house back, and she made good on her promise that she was going to give him back his property. And it was a very touching scene, you know, that, yeah, she went out of her way to help him. But before that happened, she has a meeting with Frances, Sam Landry's sister. They have a little sit down, you know, and she's saying that I got an idea of how we can stop this prison from being built, and what she says is that give me the real books of Sam, you know, all his crap, you know, the real ones, you know. And pretty much what this will do is everything that's attached to Sam Landry will fall like dominoes. You know, all of his connections, people that he's been working with, will no longer want to work with him. And then on top of it, this will stop all the legislators and stuff that's going on about building this prison. They're going to draw back from it, and that will immediately get shut down. But then you, Frances, can come in like the white horse and save the day. But then she also says that what I want is you let the farmers back on their property with affordable rates. You know. She says that, look, it'll be great PR. You helping the community, this will make you look good, and PR is always good business. And she's so right about that. And then she talks about she wants her mill back because the mill belongs to the Bordelon family. Oh, but Miss Frances, she's a businesswoman just like Charlie, so she's like, hey, if you want me to get involved in this, I'm gonna need some of them shares, because she got the shares from Landry Enterprises from Colton, Sam Landry's son. So she's like, I'm gonna need some of your shares back. Well, at first she offered 1%, and she was like, well, if you asking for all of that, then I'm going to need more of your shares. And she says, well, if you're going to get more of my shares, you're going to have to give up a hell of a lot more than just the mill. So it was cool to see that Charlie was standing her own in this business transaction. She's like, oh, no, you're not going to push me over. Because if I got to give up shares, you're going to have to give up something too. Because at the end of the day, it's tit for tat. And then we see that she meets up with Sam Landry and lets Sam Landry know that, look, your gig is up. You know, and he was saying that, yeah, it seemed to me that a lot of my business partners know my personal information, and, you know, somebody's stirring up trouble. And she's like, oh yeah, and I'm pretty sure your friends at the state legislature will be calling you soon. So yeah, your time is up. It's over. You know, and now people see you for the corrupt, maniacal bastard that you really are. You know, but he was saying that, you know, well, congratulations and enjoy my temporary setback, because Sam Landry is an egotistical motherfucker. So it's like, I'm gonna come back. And then he was like, you did business with a woman who stabbed her own flesh and blood in the back. What the hell do you think she's going to do to you? You know, it's better to work with a devil you know versus a devil you don't. Charlie got up and was like, I'm not afraid. I have been a black woman my whole life, and no matter what kind of devil it is, it doesn't matter. I will conquer them all. So, take care, Sam, and be careful. Seriously, be careful. I'm like, Charlie, yes! That's a big win. And I think it was her doing that negotiation with Francis was how she was able to get Prosper his house back. So I thought that was cool. Awesome. Yeah, I'm going to talk about her all together by herself. Let's see here. Let's see what else. Oh, yeah. Okay, next I want to talk about Phi has a sit down with Mr. Rollins at the High Yellow. They're still looking for locations where they're going to build her pie shop, you know, because she does have this strong love of community, and we definitely saw that since season 1 when she was working at the High Yellow as a waitress. She just has this warm, welcoming spirit, and people loved Vi there, you know. And pretty much Mr. Rollins says that I thank you for telling me about your health scare. So she kept up her word that if something happens, she's gonna let him know about it. So we see that their partnership is getting even stronger. And they're looking at all these spots or whatever, but then he pretty much says there's one more spot, and she was like, and pretty much she says, and it's very close, and she's like, well, where is that? And he lets her know, you're sitting in it. And she's like, what? And I'm like, wow, ain't that a coincidence? The place where you used to work, you can now own. And she says that Clive is, you know, getting out of the business. He's retiring, and he done already put it on the market. And she's saying that, yeah, this could be a good spot for you because, you know, and she talks about, when she was 40 years old, she came in there and applied for a job as a waitress. And I think it was following her, you know, her break from Jimmy Dale. And she was like, wow. And she talks about her years of being there and how, you know, and then she talks about how working with Clive, and that even though she was there for years, it took her, she fought for the tooth and the nail to become manager. And she did. Because I remember they showed when he had brought his nephew up in there, and the nephew was smelling himself, you know, throwing his weight around, and Vi was like, I'm gonna quit before I kick your little ass. And it was so funny. But, you know, Mr. Rollins says that this could all be yours. So I thought that was great. And then next I'm gonna type on to the I'm gonna finish on Vi in a minute, but I just remembered Nova. Nova has a meeting with Deborah, who's working with her on the book, and you know, her and Deborah went to college together. Deborah immediately lets her know that, look, did you get the okay to write these stories? Because these stories are very personal, and this could get really bad. And she was like, well, look, people gave me their interviews and whatever. But she says, but did you get their consent to tell their story? Because, yeah, this stuff is great. It's amazing. This is your best work. However, this could get explosive. And are you ready for that? Because this thing could be your big break, but it can go completely left for everything that you're attached to, which I understood. And then we see that during the rally, you know, Nova was very supportive of Micah, and Micah became her inspiration to, so I think the title of the book was called Blessings of the Land. And by hearing him talk about the prisons, that prisons are not paid with dollars and cents, they're paid with bodies and blood. And she pretty much changed the book to Blessings and Blood, you know, by Nova Bordelon. And I was like, that's perfect. And we see that everything that she was hearing from Aunt Phi and all of that did ring true. And also what she heard from Deborah, that she needed to tell her story, rang true, because she went to the board. She was pulling stuff from everybody, including herself, about her dating a married man, about, you know, Calvin the cop. She is revealing all of that. And she pretty much puts, you know, like the preface, you know, for my family, the community, and for all of us to heal. So I thought that was beautiful. So yeah, Nova definitely rose to the occasion in this episode, and it was beautiful to see that, yeah, she's finally got her book and she's about to kill it. Now the last thing I want to talk about is Hollywood has a surprise for Vi. And we see that, you know, in the scene, her eyes are covered, and she's like, well, like no, she's kind of like cutting up with Hollywood, like, Hollywood, I don't know what I'm gonna do with your ass. What you done now? And she opens her eyes, and they're inside the high yellow, and we see that all the chairs are up, and he pretty much lets her know that this is yours, Vi. And she's like, you did this? She's like, yeah, I got it for you, but your name is the only one on the deed, so this is yours. No one can take this away from you. And she says, all you have to do is say yes. And she is just greatly moved, and it's just, wow, I got the best man ever. He's supporting my dream, and he don't want nothing back in return. He just wants me to be happy, and he wants me to win. Then we get a scene where the whole family is coming to Phi's house, and we see that the place is really decked out with all these lights and stuff, looking like the party's about to go on. And they all don't even know why they're there. And they all kind of sitting down like, what's going on? And next thing you know, they come out and they are dressed in their, you know, she's dressed in her wedding dress, and he's dressed in his white tux, and I'm like, yes! Ooh, I'm so happy. You know, as I said, I'm wearing my white in celebration of the happy couple, Hollywood and Vi, and their vows were so beautiful. Because the one thing that she said in her vow was that I choose love, I choose freedom, and I choose you. And then Hollywood tells about the first day he met her, he was in a bad space, and he was out like in the woods, and he tripped into some bushes, but actually it wasn't bushes, it was actually violets. And then later on that day, he went to the High Yellow, and he met Violet when she was a waitress, and she says, hi, I'm Violet. How can I make you happy today? And he says that you have made me happy from that day forth. I have never been the same. You have changed my life. And, you know, he talks about, I want to be, like, he says, yeah, well, beautiful African violence is what he actually said. But then he pretty much says that, I want to cheer you on every day, and I want to tell you you're beautiful every night. I'm like, woo. And he's like, I love you. And I was like, Hollywood, oh my God, my brother. Hollywood is the man. And I so live for that, because he breathes so much strength and positivity, and he shows a gentleness to him. Then it's good for us black men. It's okay to be gentle. It's okay to be sensitive. It's okay, you know, to just be. And Hollywood's character really exemplifies that, where he tells his woman how he really feels and is not ashamed to say it. And he's an inspiration to all of us black men. So I was rooting for that. And they get married, and then they have a big old party, and that's the kind of wedding I would want to have. I would want to have like a personal ceremony, but then I want a big old reception where everybody's coming through and everybody's just enjoying life and enjoying our love and enjoying each other. And that's exactly what they did, and it was a great ending. So I cannot wait for season 4. Also, Greenleaf comes back next week, and I'm so ready for it, because I'm a big fan of Greenleaf, just like I am with Queen Sugar. So this was a really good episode, and I definitely enjoyed this season. I'm so happy it's coming back for season 4. But yeah, we definitely can see there's going to be certain things that's going to take shape in season 4, especially Charlie working with Francis, because I don't trust Francis for shit. I really do think that Francis is a devil you definitely need to watch. Yes, lady, you gotta watch. Exactly. So Charlie gonna have to watch her ass, because I don't trust her for shit. And she's already showing that she has some trickery up her sleeve. So I'm definitely here for that. But that's what I have, everybody. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to talk to you about it. But subscribe to my channel. Oh yeah, and also Dollar was at the rally too. I forgot to mention that as well. But okay, now I got that out. Okay, subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow me on all of my social platforms. I have them all listed in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I'll be back with the next episode of Queen Sugar. So until next, well, I'll be back for season 4 premiere of Queen Sugar. So until next time, everybody, take care.